Hi, my name is Michelle, and I had thyroid papillary cancer. And I've been seeing people take or make videos that have been really helpful and really encouraging and really inspiring. And I thought it fair to share my experience and what I went through, and hopefully that could either answer questions for people or it can help someone feel more comfortable about what they're going through or what their friend or what a family member might be going through. So I really hope that that my video is useful in some way, shape, or form. So this is my incision now. I had my operation a week and a day ago, Friday, October 2019. And the day leading up to that was kind of crazy. I was doing something where I needed to get my medical information in order. So I so I had to get a new PCP, a new primary care physician. And that physician, well, I already had a lipoma lump in my back. And that's, for anybody who's wondering, that's a fatty tissue. It's benign. It's nothing. It's literally just, just some fatty tissue. So it's still there. But they noticed, they looked at me and said, "When was the last time you had blood tests done?" And I was like, "A couple years ago." "Why?" And he was like, "There is a lump in your neck." And I had already known about that lump from 2 years ago, from 2 years prior to this moment that he was noticing it. And I was like, all right, well, since I have to get all of my documents in order, let's just, get this done. So so he told me to get an ultrasound of my right thyroid. And they noticed that there was a 1.7 centimeter nodule on the right side. And I was like, okay. And they're like, "That's big enough for us to be concerned about it. So I'm going to refer you to an endocrinologist." I go see the endocrinologist, and she tells me that I'm going to have to get an FNA, a fine needle aspiration, where they take a needle and they, using ultrasound guidance, they put the needle into your neck, into the thyroid nodule, and they pump it in a few times so that they can suck out a few cells that they can take for sampling. So the sample that came back showed that it was a stage Bethesda category 4. So there's categories to this thing. 1 being that very little suspicion of cancer. So we're not going to focus on it. We're just going to monitor you. And 5 being, this is cancer. We need to get this thing out of you. So 4 meant that it was suspicious, saying that, it looks like it could be cancer, but the cells, they're too mixed. There's too much saying that we just don't know. So we're going to have to go in again. And she told me that we're going to have to do another FNA to do an Afirma test, which looks at the genetic composition of the cells to find out whether or not it's cancer or not. And it's supposed to be more accurate and all that. So I go back for the second FNA, and she went back and she said, well, they took the first sample, they took a portion of the first sample, and they submitted that for FNA testing. So because it wasn't packaged or presented the way that an FNA, I meant for Afirma testing, because it wasn't presented for Afirma testing, it couldn't give me for certain, this is cancer or this is not cancer. It came up as suspicious. Again, meaning that the next step was supposed to be surgery. She gave me a number, and I went to see the doctor the following Wednesday, and then he told me that the following Friday I was going to be going in for surgery. So I go in, he runs me through it. He had such good tableside manner, so good. I know that's later, but still, such a great surgeon. Love him. He'd been doing this for 20 years. And I felt like I was in good hands with him. So I had gone, now I'm in the hospital at 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. It was too early for me. I wasn't ready for it. No. So the whole time that I'm there, my boyfriend's with me, and he is literally my rock through this whole thing. If you're watching this, hun, thank you so much for being there beside me. I could not have done this without you. But we were literally just doing nothing but laughing the whole time. We had like older people like that were in the same holding area as me, and it was loud. It was loud for 7 o'clock in the morning. And he and I were just laughing the whole time. But that didn't really give me very much time to process that I was about to go into surgery. So when my anesthesiologist came in, he was like, so here's what we're going to do, and this is what's going to happen, and I wasn't prepared. I was like, what? Like, what? And then later on, a woman came by, and she was like, I'm going to be the one that's standing beside you through this, and this, that, or the other, and just like, I'm starting to freak out at this moment. So my boyfriend's attempts to like help me feel better were slowly just like becoming not helpful, really, like not really making a dent. But later on it was like, all right, so we're gonna do this. So they pricked me with some IVs. Ow. They the IV, and you'll see the dot. The IV itself, like, it went in, and they had to like hold it there for a second, and I wasn't ready for it at all. And while they had it in, while this needle is moving around in my hand, they had to put tape over it, like two minutes. It was a lot, and it was more than I was prepared to to handle at that moment. So it was insane. But later on, they're like, all right, we're gonna start rolling you back. Look at my boyfriend, give him a hug, kiss goodbye. He told me good luck, and I saw him off, or he saw me off. And I go back there, they wheel me back, and they say, all right, we want you to move over. Oh, before they did, they said, all right, we're gonna give you a shot of the cocktail medicine that's going to make you feel, a little woozy, but it should take some of the edge off because we know that you're nervous. I was really nervous because, for two reasons. One, I'm a normally healthy person, so I'm not used to being, being pumped with medications. That I didn't know how it was going to affect me. I wasn't with it. I did not like being not in control of my body, knowing that I was going to be under a knife and that my life was going to be in the hands of someone else. Like, the whole time I'm thinking, like, this is near my jugular vein, everything can go wrong, and also, for the second reason was because your thyroid is in your larynx, or on your larynx, or something like that, and there's 4 laryngeal nerves that connect to your vocal cords and control your vocal cords. I've been singing for 5 years, I've been in school singing for 5 years. I was terrified that I would not be able to sing again after this. So they roll me back at this point, and they told me, all right, we need you to get onto after the cocktail shot, they didn't realize that my IV wasn't open. And I was like, how did, what? Like, I was like, what? Like, how? If this happens during my surgery, I don't know. I was really upset. I was really scared. But they're like, you're fine. Everything's fine. So they roll me back and they tell me, all right, you're going to go from this bed to that bed. So literally, everything from the moment of me putting my butt onto the operation table, I woke up. I don't remember anything else. Nothing. Like, I just remember going to sleep, or not even going to sleep. I remember sitting on the table and then waking up. And when I did wake up, there was a man that was sitting beside me, and he said, I was like, hey, you're awake. And I was like, what's going on? Where is he? Where is my where is my boyfriend? I kept calling for my boyfriend, and they're like, he's coming, it's gonna be fine. And I was like, no, where is he? I was just freaking out. And like, it literally took, I don't know how long it took. It could have been minutes, it could have been hours, it could have been 30 minutes, I don't know. But I was adamant on wanting to see my boyfriend at that moment. And when he came by, I finally was able to calm down. I don't know exactly what happened, but he saw me, and the next thing I know, I'm in a holding room. I don't remember being transitioned to a holding room. I just remember waking up next to the man that was like monitoring me, I guess. And then I remember waking up and I was in an empty room again. And of course, I called for my boyfriend again because I'm like, where is he? So finally he comes in, he sits beside me. And I said, so how did everything go? How was everything? He looked at me, he was like, you're fine. You're great. And I'm like, you're lying to me. And he was like, oh, you're fine. So later on, while I'm at my stay, they changed over nurses. And he, like, before I move on to that, he and I had already like discussed who wanted, like, if it was bad news, who I would want to break it to me. And I said I would like for him to break it to me, my boyfriend. But for one reason or another, he just looked at me and he was like, you're fine. You're great. Everything was fine. And I'm like, so so like I said, these nurses came in. It was later on in the day, shift change, if you will. And some nurses came in and she was like, and they were basically giving the rundown of my case and who I was and them needing to take care of me. So she took me and she was like, hey, so she was talking to the nurses and they were like, so this is Michelle and she has had a total thyroidectomy. And at that moment, because you don't take out your total thyroid for just any reason. So I was like, all right, so I know what it was. And so they told me, or they told each other, and I looked at my boyfriend, I was like, so you weren't gonna tell me? But he didn't. And so they did the rest of the rundown and it was fine. Later on, my surgeon came in, he told me, yes, I did in fact have thyroid papillary cancer. He told me that there wasn't very much to worry about because it was a good cancer. And that, I just have to do things differently now as opposed to, how I used to do things before. And other than that, it was just a matter of recovering from the surgery. At that moment, I couldn't talk very much because my voice would get tired. I couldn't cough. I couldn't swallow. Couldn't swallow at all for a minute. But at the same time, I did not want to be there anymore. So I literally forced myself to eat and swallow like whole foods, and I was like, I'm fine, I'm great, release me. So the next day they released me, but they released me at like 7 o'clock. So it was very, very late, very late. And I was like, you know what? Well, no, they gave me 3 prescriptions and they said, go to the pharmacy and pick up your prescriptions and be sure that you take them and everything's going to be fine. So we go to my pharmacy. My boyfriend was the one who helped me, in discharge. We go to my pharmacy, and my pharmacy is closed. And it's like I need this stuff. Like, I didn't know, I guess, that it wasn't a 24-hour pharmacy because I'm so used to all pharmacies being 24 hours. But whatever. So we go to a different pharmacy, and that pharmacy didn't take my insurance. So it was like, I need this stuff. So we just decided to bite the bullet, and we, paid for the prescriptions. And when they hand them back to us 50 minutes later, they literally tell me, they're like, by the way, your calcium, the one that you have to take, that's over the counter. And we can't give that to you here. So have a good night. Great day. So at this point, it's 9 o'clock at night. We're tired. I'm uncomfortable. He's tired. He's uncomfortable. He already has an hour-long commute to get back home. So I was like, it's fine. Just take me home. And, I went home. But because I didn't have that calcium, the calcium deficiency, type of things were happening, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. So to help me get through the night, I took the pain medication that they allowed me to have, which is literally like a step down from morphine. And that knocked me out, clear out, but it was really, really, really uncomfortable. And I had to deal with it. Through the night, I would wake up and I felt my hands, like I couldn't do this. Like I could, but like it was like, it was really hard to do, for both hands. So it wasn't like it was the IV or anything like that. It was like I really couldn't, my toes wouldn't curl. My thighs, they were in a state where it was like, it wasn't like they were clenched, but it was like you could feel that they were tighter than they normally are when they're relaxed. So that was weird. I felt twitching in my like this upper arm, and in my calves and my ankles, and fluttering in my left thigh, just like, just tremoring. And my whole face was tingly. And especially the right side of my face. But they normally say it's like around the lips, but no, it was my face. My whole face. And that was crazy. But I had to deal with this for additional day because my boyfriend had to go back home. Like he like there's only so long that he can stay and help. But, for the next day, it was a Sunday, and I had to go back home. And I had to sort of lay in bed. I got up a few times to make oatmeal and Jell-O and stuff, but it was really difficult. It was really difficult. But, that being said, after everything, what's the word? Life had to go on. Life doesn't stop for anybody. So I knew that, I had to do stuff. I had to figure stuff out. So the next day, I decided, it was Monday, I decided not to go to school, and I went to get my calcium, and I did a follow-up with my general practitioner. And they helped me get the first layer of bandage, gauze, tape off. And, after I took the calcium, I didn't feel any better. It was just, I just took it. And then after that, I think I went home. And, after I went home, I relaxed. I had a terrible headache. It was awful. And that was Monday. And then Tuesday, I went back to school, like I said, because life doesn't stop for anybody, but that was a pain. I had the hardest time trying to get through that. I had to have one of my friends, literally hold my arm as I was walking because I just had very little energy to do so. It was so hard. But after that day, after I started, working with my calcium, my muscles were stiff. That was another thing. My muscles were still really stiff. Had very little energy. My breathing was awful. I couldn't take a deep breath to save my life. So imagine trying to take multiple breaths or trying to get as much oxygen in your body as possible. It was really, really, really difficult. And then after that, back in April, I had a car accident. And I didn't go see a chiropractor about it. I didn't talk to anybody or any doctor about it or anything like that because I left the accident with no scratches or bruises. So I was like, you know what, I'm fine. But I know that I did have some neck problems afterward. And those neck problems are following me because I have to have sufficient support on my neck when I sleep or when I'm doing anything really. Not really doing anything, but definitely when I'm sleeping, I have to have some sort of neck support because it's so painful. And that's literally that's what's stopping me from right now from being able to breathe very deeply. Yawning still hurts. Sneezing hurt. I was about to sneeze the other day. I thought this was about to fly off of me. It was I didn't sneeze, but I felt if I let myself sneeze, that no. Sneezing is out of the question right now. Laughing, out of the question. Coughing, out of the question. But I can swallow big foods right now. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much me. A week and a day after post-surgery. Everything's going great. I'm recovering a lot faster and a lot better than I thought I would. They told me, little quick side note, that I thought that I had no idea what the Michael Jackson stuff was until my boyfriend explained to me that it's because that's how Michael Jackson passed away. And I was like, thank you so much for not telling me before I went in, because I could have lived the rest of my life never knowing that. But thanks. So yeah, but also I want to say this for anybody who is either going through this or not very sure, about how to feel about this. For a while I felt guilty, or that I was wrong for feeling scared, or for feeling I'm not allowed to feel upset or hurt at what I'm going through. It is okay to feel how you're feeling. What you need is support. You need to have that support around you. Try not to go through this alone. Do your best to not allow yourself to just take it in all by yourself and brush it off and say, well, it's not this type of cancer, or well, it's not this disease, or anything like that. You're still going through surgery where you have to go under general anesthesia. You are still going to be in pain. You are still going to be going through a process. You are allowed to feel scared. You are allowed to feel hurt. You're allowed to feel what you're feeling. You need to have that support around you. Don't try to go through this alone. It's okay to feel that way. Because trust me, I felt guilty. I felt wrong. I felt like I'm not allowed, or I shouldn't have the luxury of feeling upset about what I'm going through when I know that other people are going through what they're going through. Acknowledge your pain. Don't wallow in it. Don't drown in it. Don't Don't acknowledge that your life really is about to be altered through this. It's not gonna be, you know, like, it's not gonna be some drastic change where you're always gonna be, you know, doing this, that, or the other. But you will be going through differences. You will be going through changes. So I really hope that someone was able to take some sort of comfort or information, or I don't know, that they were able to just see my process. And there's more, you know, there's more of this process that I will be going through, obviously, because it's only been a week. But right now, I'm just in the process of just continuing my follow-ups and doing what I need to do to be healthy. I hope that you guys have a great day, and good luck to anybody that's about to go through this process too.